Hi guys, welcome to lesson 25. Today I would like to talk about a scale called diminished scale, which is the third symmetrical scale. We have talked about the first chromatic and then second the whole tone scale. So the third one, the last one, is this the diminished scale. So in all the three symmetrical scale, you know the reason why we call symmetrical scale because of the repetitive pattern of how the scales have been constructed. So in this diminished scale, we also find once again that the scale has been constructed by uh, alternating the whole step and a half step. So this is a little different out here. Chromatic scale was actually all half steps, and then the whole tone scale of course is all whole tone whole step. In diminished is a mixture of whole tone and a semitone. So first degree to the second degree is going to be the whole tone, and then second to third is going to be semitone. So if you talk about the scale, it's a alternating of whole tone or whole step, half step, or tone, semitone, tone, semitone, tone, semitone until you hit the next octave. So now if we look in the guitar fretboard and see maybe what are the chords we can derive or scale we can derive from here. Let's talk about C scale here. Let's see. Now if I play C here and play tone, it's going to be D. Now if I move on semitone, D sharp or E flat. So in this case maybe we can use E flat, and let's move on tone, which will be F. Then semitone, F sharp. Then tone, G sharp. Semitone, A. Then tone, B. And then semitone C. So these are the notes. So we got 8 notes here. So a diminished scale is a scale with 8 notes, unlike the diatonic scales which normally has 7 tones or 7 notes, and the whole tone with 6 notes, and the chromatic scale of course has 12 notes. So now this is a scale with 8 tones, so you might have to practice quite a lot to get into playing your fretboard, because you need to be quite familiar with your fretboard, otherwise you won't be able to play. So it's slightly different from diatonic scale, that's what you need to remember. So if we play them in a box wise, maybe in a pocket, if I play somewhere here, so I know we start from C, then go to D semitone, tone, C to D, now semitone, D sharp or E flat. So in this case let's use E flat. Alright, now move on to tone, which is going to be F, semitone, F sharp, then G sharp, tone. Alright, then move on to semitone, which is going to be A. So let me put here 3 notes per string rule: A, tone, now B, semitone. Alright, so now it might be a little confusing because I'm just randomly pointing out, but if you write it out, it becomes very simple. Tone from C, which is D, then semitone, the E flat. Okay, you got here. Now I wanted to organize with 3 note per string rules. So let's say here we have 3 notes here: D, C, D, D sharp for now, and then next going to be F. So instead of playing here, let me move down here, F. So I move on to now semitone, F sharp, and G sharp tone. So I got it. Semitone, tone. This is G sharp. Now I got to play tone, semitone now, which is A. So let me play here A, because 3 notes per string rule: A, tone now, B, and C semitone. Alright. So this is what you got here. So this is how it sounds. Sorry. Alright, so this shape, if I point it out, you might find very easy here. C, finger number 1, 3 and 4. 1, 3, 4, which means you're leaving one finger out, which means a tone. You're leaving one fret, which is a tone gap here, semitone here. Now 1, 3, 4. In the next string, I want you to play 1, 2, 4. Just to make things organized and simpler. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. So this, I think you can remember this easily. Alright, so now I want you to play alternate 1, 3, 4 again on the next string, but I want you to move on the third string one fret back. So 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. One finger pattern, finger number 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, again 1, 3, 4. But on the third string, remember you move back to the second fret, one fret back. So diminished chord here, you can play C diminished 7. So as we talk about the functions in practical point of view, you can use the diminished scale for any diminished chord you play. So wherever diminished chord you played, either in a chord progression, you can use that particular diminished chord, diminished scale on top of the diminished chord. Suppose if you're playing, let's say C diminished in one of the chord progression. So then suppose if I'm playing D minor 7, then I come to C diminished, then maybe you can play like D minor, If I come to C diminished here, then maybe I can play maybe I can play C diminished here, C diminished 7. So that's how actually you can incorporate your a C diminished scale or a diminished scale on any diminished chord you play. So it is not like a relative chords which has to be played along with that chord. If you play in G major scale, for example, when I play G, C, D, I can still play G major chord, on top of the C, D chord also. But in this diminished, when I am in, let's say, if I am in C or a D minor chord progression, when I hit C diminished and I go to play, I can play C diminished, scale on top of that chord progression. So you can apply your diminished scale on whatever diminished chord you play. So that particular diminished chord will be the root note of the scale. So I hope you're clear with that. That's the first point I want you to know. And the other one is, if you are using diminished chord as a passing chord, then you can use you can use a diminished scale on that passing chord itself. If the passing chord is C sharp diminished, then you can use a C sharp diminished scale. Alright, I hope you're clear with that. Alright, the second point I want you to know is, you can use a diminished scale on any altered dominant 7 chords. For example, in C major scale, in C major scale harmonization, you use C, and then the 7th chord is the B diminished chord. So when you play B diminished or B diminished 7, you know that you are you're going to the root note or the tonic C. Alright, now my point is, when you play a diminished chord here, the 7th degree, you can play B diminished scale, in the C scale harmonization. This is when this is when you play diminished chord, or you can play diminished 7. So when you hit this last chord, the 7th chord, this is when you can play B diminished scale instead of the regular diatonic scale here. Instead of playing C major scale, you can play a B diminished scale over here, whenever you play the 7 degree chord progression. Okay, that is one thing. The other one is we also had that substitute chords. So whenever you play a dominant 7 chords, for example in C chord progression, C scale chord progression, suppose if I'm playing C, D minor, then G7, which is the 5th dominant 7 here, G7. So in C scale, G7 is the 5th 7, right? So when you play 5th dominant 7 chord, G7, you can substitute this G7 chord in a chordal wise. You can substitute this G7 chord by playing B diminished 7 chord. Alright, so let me give you one example. If I play, if this is the melody, alright, so if this is the melody, let me substitute G7 chord or the dominant 7 chord with the diminished 7 chord. You know, if I play with dominant 7, so what I'm saying is you can alter, or you can bring alteration in the melody by actually substituting the chords. So now it gives you a very different feel, or very different sound resolution over there. Okay, now likewise, as you replace a dominant 7 chord by a diminished chord, you can also replace a diatonic scale by the diminished scale. For example, if you are playing a chord progression of, let's say, C, and then when you play, if there is any dominant 7 chord in your chord progression, then instead of playing the regular diatonic scale, you can actually play on top of this dominant 7 chord, you can play a diminished scale, the 7 degree diminished scale. This time is going to be a B diminished scale for a C scale. So if, to make it things simpler and clear, I know this is a little confusing, but let me make things very simple. If you play a solo or a melody in C major scale or a C diatonic scale, whenever you play dominant 7 chord, you will still play a C major scale or a C diatonic scale, in a normal way of playing. But there is one technique or one tip for you, is whenever you hit a dominant 7 chords, you don't play a C major scale here. Instead of C major scale, you play a diminished scale. Which diminished scale? Which is going to be the 7 degree diminished scale. This is, in case of C major scale, is going to be B diminished scale. So whenever you play G dominant 7 chords, you play a B diminished scale. Whenever you play a 5th dominant 7 chords, you can play the 7 degree diminished scale over that. So that's how actually you bring lots of changes and then varieties in your melody line without changing the chord progression. You can change the entire color of the your solo playing or a melody line by incorporating your diminished scale on top of the 5th dominant 7 chord. So in case of C scale, play B diminished scale over whenever you play G7 chord. B diminished scale on G7 chord. Alright, the next point I'd like to mention will be about the diminished chords. There is something interesting about diminished chords actually. Diminished chords are being grouped in 3. So there are 3 diminished groups, which has actually, one group has 4 chords each. So in every diminished groups, there will be 4 chords, which is constructed by using the same notes. Keep in mind that. So by using the same notes, same 4 notes actually, they construct the whole diminished, 4 different chords. So that means let's talk about the first group. So if I play a C diminished chord here, if you lift 2 fret away and go to the next fret here, which will be the E flat diminished, play C diminished, E flat diminished. Now if I play F sharp diminished here and A diminished, okay, and if you go here again C diminished. Right, so these 4 different diminished chords which I played right now shares the same notes, means it is constructed by using the same 4 notes. Now let's see what are the notes in these 4 chords. The first chord is the C diminished chord here. Now I'm playing C, F sharp, A and E flat. Alright, you'll find the same 4 notes in the next chord. Now I'm playing here E flat here. E flat, so E flat, A, C and F sharp. So that was the previous same 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now go to here F sharp. So here F sharp diminished chord has F sharp, C and then E flat, A. Here again you find the same notes, and when you go to A diminished chord here, you have A, here E flat, and then F sharp and then C. But the next will be again the octave, which is C diminished chord. So that means actually these 4 different diminished chords is constructed by using the same notes. So which means that if I play in one chord, certain chord progression of if I play C diminished, I can use any of the remaining 3. So instead of playing C diminished, I can play E flat diminished, or I can play F sharp diminished, or I can play A diminished. So that's one plus point that you have by knowing a group wise. So that means if you play, for instance, F sharp diminished, that means you can play C diminished. You can substitute them. So when you write music, or when you are actually playing instantly or jamming with your friends or band, if this thing can ring in your mind, and so if somebody say or somebody is playing a C diminished, then you can play F sharp diminished, or you can play A diminished, or you can play E flat diminished. So you have actually options. It's like more or less like a inverted chords, inversion chords. Okay, now let's talk about the second group. So if we here, the first group is the C group here. If you move a semitone up here, so you will find here C sharp diminished group, second group. So C sharp diminished group will be C sharp, and then go to E diminished, then next you find G diminished, then B flat diminished, right, and back to C sharp diminished. Alright, so now if you check the notes, you will find the same thing. First let's find what are the notes here. C, G, B flat and E here. C, G, B flat, E. If I play E flat, E diminished here, E, so the second chord of the second group, E, B flat, and then this is C sharp, which is, this is a D flat or a C sharp, then G. Alright, let me play the C sharp chord, C sharp. Let me play now the third chord, which is G diminished. G, C sharp, E and B flat. The fourth one will be again B flat, and then this is what E, G and E flat. Alright, it's a D flat, C sharp, So you have, C sharp. Alright. So this is the second group. Now let me talk about the third group quickly, the D group, D diminished. So D diminished will be D, G sharp, and B and F. D, G sharp, B and F. So you'll find here, go to F here, then you find F, B, D, and G sharp. Similarly, you will find the same. Now if you move to the next, which is already a D sharp or E flat. So E flat diminished chord is already a group of C, the first group. So now by grouping them into three different groups, you will be able to use this diminished chord more with fluently or more easily. So it is quite important to know this, so that in future you can, even in your solo playing, it applies the same. Now when you play C diminished scale, you can also play the D sharp diminished or E flat diminished scale, which would be quite similar, sharing the same notes. So whatever notes I played in C diminished is going to be in the E flat diminished also. So in C diminished you have C, D, E flat, then F, F sharp, then you have A flat, and then you have A, B, C. So F, F sharp, and then A flat or G sharp, and have A, B, C. Likewise, you will find the same notes even in the C sharp, in the D sharp diminished scale. Okay, so this is a bit of how you can relate your chords, diminished chords, in the diminished scale. Alright, I'd like to show you two more diminished shapes. First will be in this area. Maybe I'll talk about, maybe we can play A diminished scale here on the 5th fret. You can add this. So this is one shape I want you to learn. I'll play for you slowly. It's very simple when you if I classify it. First, let's talk about fingering pattern, finger numbers. You play finger number 1, 3, 4, okay, and you alternate them. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. Alright, you keep alternating these two finger patterns. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. Octave is here, but I'm just adding 3 notes per string rule so that you can occupy this area. So if we go back, then you move back 1 fret. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2. Then you add this one, 4. Okay, let's move back. 4, 2, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 3, 1. Alright, so maybe you can count that way. So it's a little confusing though when you start playing, but as you keep playing it will get accustomed to your finger. Alright, so this is one shape I want you to master. This is the A diminished shape over the 5th fret, and then the other one is you're playing horizontally. It's also very simple, as I will just show you how the similar pattern. Same, you start with the A, B, C, and then you move on to the next fret, D, D sharp or E flat, and F. Okay, let me show you first. So this is one A diminished chord you can, sorry, A diminished scale you can try here, or a diminished chord is going to be like this. A diminished 7 chord. Alright, so now let me show you the pattern quickly. You play 1, 1, 3, 4. Now you use this second finger to play. You're playing actually 2 notes here at a time. Semitone, lift 1 fret, tone gap and semitone. So semitone, tone gap, semitone again. Okay, now you repeat the same thing here. You repeat the same thing here. This time when you hit the second string, you lift 1 fret and move to the next fret. Now repeat the same thing. You hit A, the last, the highest octave here. Alright, so let me play for you one more time slowly. So you come back to the diminished chord here, or otherwise you can play diminished 7 chord here. Alright, so there's the A diminished scale in 2 different shapes. First was, in the pocket or in the area wise, one box I call the box, in this box or in this area. The other one is, traveling horizontally. So, you can in future play all this kind of stuff you can incorporate in your riff. You can create riff like this, when you play with a distortion pedal in my sound. Alright, so this is one way you can practice your scales, so it'll take some time for you to master this most probably, but you keep doing it and then you can keep creating your own shapes in different areas of the fretboard. So but for today, right now, I'm just showing you some ways to do it so that you can continue to do more of this kind of stuff. Alright, and then you can also of course practice the string wise, tone. You can practice string wise, single string wise also. Okay, now the next one will be the most very useful one, I should say, one of the most useful way to use the diminished scale, but in a form of arpeggio. So this is called the diminished 7 arpeggio. So in this case, I would like to play in the A flat diminished. So A flat diminished 7 arpeggio. It sounds complicated, but it's actually quite easy. So A flat diminished chord is like this, So these are all similar pattern, G sharp or A flat. So you have these similar groups here. Alright, so now let me play for you. You're leaving 2 fret away. Tone, semitone. That means tone plus semitone. which is a minor third gap. So let me play with that. You can do all this kind of stuff. So how it works, let me just show you a few slowly. G sharp, third, A flat, minor third, which is B. So if I talk about fret wise, lift 2 fret away. Okay, you see this, right? So if you start from A flat here, 4th fret, next you go to the 5th fret, do the same thing, and play the same thing, the next fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, next string. This time you don't play immediately like 7, 8, you go to the 9th fret, jump here, remember that. Next you again same thing. Okay, so if I play my little finger, maybe you don't have to play the whole 6th string, maybe you can divide like 3 string each. This is string, no, there's a fret skip here, so it's a little difficult. Alright, so once you have this shape, then you can try playing with the phrasing, note phrasing system here. 4 note phrasing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so let me play for you slowly. 4 note phrasing. So group 4 note each. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you start from the second note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Third note. 4 note. So using little finger is actually more appropriate, I guess. It makes it easy to run. Alright, so as far as picking is concerned, sometimes I use alternate picking. Most of the time I use alternate picking, but sometimes you can use your legato, and then maybe hammer on and pull off technique can be played here, used here. So I use hammer on here. So every first note I pick, down and hammer, down hammer. Similar here, I pick 2 times here. I pick here and pick hand again, pick, so down stroke, hammer on, again pick. Alright, so this is one pattern you can practice. Alright, so before we wind up, 2 more shapes, 2 more arpeggio shapes for you. The last second will be to play arpeggio over the 4th, 3rd, and then the 2nd string. Alright, so we have here A flat arpeggio, A flat diminished arpeggio, A flat, which is the 6th fret, then the 4th fret on the 2nd, 3rd string, and then D here. So A flat, B, D, 6th, 3rd string here, 4th fret, and the 3rd fret, 2nd string. leaving 2 fret away. Remember the chord group you apply this time. So this will be G sharp or A flat diminished group. So right now I'm using A flat thumb. So you can use that. So then maybe you can try playing with one more note to make the arpeggio sound complete. So you can play this. You can use in your solo playing or the neoclassical style of playing. You can do all this with the sweep picking technique also in future. So add one more diminished note, which is the F note here. So I play. So if you add sliding note, it might sound nicer. Hammer on, or just play and slide up and slide up. Okay, so you can do that. Basically, just repeat this shape. Repeat this shape. Bring your, see, this is in the 6th fret. So bring your first finger to the 6th fret. Now bring your finger to this fret, which is the 9th fret. So first finger to 9th fret. Don't change the shape yet. Again, otherwise you're moving this little finger 2 frets away. Okay, so I'm looking that way. So now I'm in the 6th fret, 9th fret, 12th fret, then the 15th fret, and the 18th, correct, 18th fret. So you can apply this. So this is one shape. Okay, the last and the final shape will be again in the A flat diminished. Another diminished shape here. Same concept. Lift 2 fret and come to F here. D, lift 2 frets, okay, so now the root note is on the first string here, so let's say in the A flat, so you can add these notes to complete your arpeggio playing. You can do that. If you put on your distortion pedal, it will sound much faster and smoother. Alright, sorry for that. Anyway, so this is one you can do, and then so for any group, anywhere you play, you just have to know the group. So if you're playing in a F sharp diminished, so you're grouping them F sharp, then here A, then C. Remember that group? So the previous chord group we studied is applied the same everywhere. So I hope you get some insight from this session. And there are lots more to talk about diminished scale. Actually, you can use a lot in jazz playing styles, and then even in rock playing. What we did was a basic of or an idea for you to get into arpeggios playing, and then even in solo playing. They'll also talk about it is applied in many genres, especially in jazz playing also. But for today, we will keep this much. I think it's quite a lot we covered. So practice them well, and then maybe in future we can talk about diminished scale more in details. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson 26.